Have you ever looked down at your perfectly healthy meal and wondered why your blood sugar still seems to be on a roller coaster? You're trying your best, choosing everything labeled diet, healthy, or natural, yet your glucose monitor tells a completely different story. Does that sound familiar? What if I told you that the culprits might actually be the very foods you considered your greatest allies in the fight against diabetes? Today, we are pulling the mask off 5 pseudo-healthy products that are secretly sabotaging your health. Get ready. Some of these revelations might genuinely shock you. In fact, I'm willing to bet that at least one of these items is sitting in your refrigerator right now. But before we dive into the list, let's address the root of the issue. The world of modern food marketing is an absolute jungle. Manufacturers have become masters at disguising harmful products as health foods. Bright packaging screams catchy slogans like 0% fat, no added sugar, excellent source of vitamins. These labels create the illusion that you're making the right choice. People who are actively managing their health, especially those with conditions like diabetes, are particularly vulnerable. They trust these slogans without meticulously reading the fine print on the ingredient list. But that fine print is exactly where the devil hides. Behind the promise of fat-free, manufacturers often load up the product with tons of sugar and starch to compensate for the flavor. And that natural fruit juice you drink, its impact on your blood glucose level can often be worse than a can of soda. Our goal today is simple: to learn how to see through that marketing fog and start making decisions based on solid, factual knowledge, not just on the beautiful promises printed on a label. So our first suspect is instant oatmeal. Yes, that very kind we've been told since childhood is the gold standard of a healthy breakfast. The box usually features a happy family, and the commercials promise an energy boost that lasts all day. And it's true. Oatmeal is rich in fiber, B vitamins, and complex carbohydrates. It's supposed to be digested slowly, keep us full for hours, and gently raise blood sugar levels. In theory, it sounds absolutely perfect, doesn't it? Millions of people start their day with a warm bowl of this oatmeal, absolutely convinced they are making a massive investment in their long-term health. They add fruit, a touch of honey, and think this is the pinnacle of proper nutrition. But the main trap, especially for someone with diabetes, lies precisely in that key word: instant. Now let's take a look behind the curtain of how this is made. For that oatmeal to cook in just 1 or 2 minutes, the grains are subjected to intense, rigorous processing. They are rolled, pre-steamed, and pulverized into incredibly fine, thin flakes. This intensive process destroys the grain structure and, more importantly, strips away most of the beneficial dietary fiber, the very component responsible for slowing down how fast sugar enters your bloodstream. The result? We are left with a product that has an extremely high glycemic index. As far as your body is concerned, this instant oatmeal is virtually indistinguishable from a slice of white bread, or even straight-up candy. It triggers a sharp, massive spike in blood sugar levels, followed by an equally dramatic crash. This is essentially a high-speed blood sugar roller coaster for your pancreas, something that if you have diabetes must be avoided at all costs. Let's debunk a popular myth. It usually starts with, "But it says whole grain on the package." This is a textbook example of a marketing gimmick. Yes, technically the flakes are made from whole grain. No one is lying. However, the term whole grain tells us absolutely nothing about the product's degree of processing. Think of a whole log versus a pile of sawdust. Both are technically wood, but their properties and uses are completely different. It's the same situation here. Whole, unprocessed oat groats and instant oatmeal packets are two entirely different products when you consider their impact on your body. These types of quick porridges often contain hidden sugars, artificial flavorings, and dried fruit that's been soaked in syrup, turning a supposedly healthy breakfast into an actual sugar bomb. A simple graph illustrates this perfectly. Your blood sugar level after a bowl of slow-cooked oats will look like a smooth, gentle wave, while the same amount of instant oatmeal will result in a sharp, almost vertical spike. So, what are oatmeal enthusiasts supposed to do? Do you really have to give it up entirely? Absolutely not. You just need to choose the right kind. Look for whole oat groats or traditional rolled oats that require cooking for at least 15 to 20 minutes. Yes, this takes a little longer, but your health is absolutely worth the effort. These types of oats retain the full structure of the grain and maximum fiber content. They digest slowly, providing a sustained feeling of fullness and helping to keep your blood sugar levels stable. Alternatively, you can prepare the porridge the night before by simply soaking the oats in water or low-fat milk or yogurt. In the morning, you'll have a ready-made and truly nutritious breakfast. Another excellent alternative is porridge made from quinoa or buckwheat, both of which have a low glycemic index and are rich in protein. The main takeaway? Generally, the longer the grain takes to cook, the healthier it is for you. Let's move on to the second point on our list, fruit juices and smoothies. These are truly health in a glass, vibrant, refreshing, and packed with vitamins. What could be better than kicking off your morning with a glass of freshly squeezed orange juice? Or satisfying your midday thirst with a thick berry smoothie? Advertisements constantly assure us that this is the fastest, easiest way to hit our daily quota of vitamins and antioxidants. This message is especially appealing to those who aren't keen on eating whole fruits. It seems like the perfect solution, delicious, quick, and undeniably healthy. Store shelves are overflowing with variety, 100% juices with no added sugar, green detox smoothies, and various vitamin-enriched beverages. However, for someone managing diabetes, this liquid fruit can be far more treacherous than any traditional dessert. The entire problem boils down to one simple step: removing the fiber. When we juice a fruit, whether it's an apple, an orange, or a carrot, all the beneficial pulp and dietary fiber get left behind in the juicer. So, what exactly ends up in our glass? Essentially, it's a concentrated solution of fructose, which is natural fruit sugar, and water. Without the fiber, which acts as a buffer in whole fruits and slows down sugar absorption, that fructose is absorbed into the bloodstream almost instantly. The effect on the body is comparable to drinking a can of sugary soda. Your liver simply cannot cope with such a massive influx of sugar, which leads to a dramatic glucose spike. Even if the packaging proudly states 100% juice with no added sugar, this doesn't change the fact that it contains a huge amount of natural sugar derived from the fruits themselves. One single glass of orange juice can contain the equivalent amount of sugar found in 3 or 4 whole oranges, a quantity you would never consume in one sitting. But what about smoothies? After all, the whole fruit, including the fiber, is blended into them. Yes, they certainly are a better option than juice, but they still have their pitfalls. First, the blending process still partially breaks down the fiber, which speeds up the absorption of sugars. Second, it's incredibly easy to pack a huge amount of fruit into a single glass of smoothie. A banana, a mango, a handful of grapes. That much fructose in one sitting is a serious shock to your blood sugar levels. Store-bought smoothies are especially dangerous. Manufacturers often add fruit syrups, honey, sweetened yogurts, or even ice cream for flavor and texture. As a result, what looks like a healthy drink is actually a high-calorie dessert that contains more sugar than a donut. Imagine this. One average, store-bought berry smoothie can contain anywhere from 40 to 60 grams of sugar. That's more than the daily recommended limit for a healthy person, let alone someone with diabetes. What's the alternative, then? The answer is surprisingly simple. Eat whole fruit. An apple, an orange, a handful of berries. When you do this, you get more than just vitamins. You also get all the essential fiber, which slows down sugar absorption and keeps you feeling full longer. Your body will definitely thank you for it. Now, if you truly can't live without smoothies, make them yourself at home, following the right guidelines. The base of your smoothie should be non-sweet components, greens like spinach and celery, or vegetables such as cucumber and avocado. Use fruit sparingly and prioritize low glycemic index options such as green apples or berries. To boost satiety and slow down that sugar rush, always include a source of protein, like plain yogurt or protein powder, and healthy fats, such as chia seeds, flax seeds, or sugar-free nut butter. This kind of smoothie can genuinely be a healthy snack. Our third wolf in sheep's clothing, fat-free products. This trend first emerged at the end of the 20th century, when nutritionists worldwide declared dietary fat the primary enemy of good health and a slim figure. Store shelves quickly filled with non-fat yogurts, cottage cheeses, low-fat cheeses, salad dressings, and mayonnaise. The logic seemed ironclad. Less fat meant fewer calories, making these products supposedly better for weight management and overall health. For people living with conditions like diabetes, who are often advised to monitor their weight closely, these products appeared to be a genuine lifesaver. The promise was simple. You could enjoy all your favorite foods without worrying about excess calories or cholesterol. This belief system became so deeply ingrained that even today, many automatically reach for packaging proudly labeled 0% fat or light, mistakenly viewing it as the only healthy option. But let's face the facts. What happens when fat is removed from a product? It loses more than just calories. It loses both flavor and texture. The food becomes bland, watery, and completely unappetizing. And what do manufacturers do to fix this situation? That's right. They start adding other ingredients to make the product appealing again. And at the top of the list of these enhancers are sugar, high fructose corn syrup, starch, and various thickeners. As a result, when you buy a non-fat yogurt with fruit flavoring, you're actually getting far more sugar and simple carbohydrates than you would in its full-fat counterpart. You avoid the fat, but you take a direct hit to your blood glucose levels. Yet simple carbs, not fats, are the primary concern when managing diabetes. It creates a paradox. In our pursuit of lightness, we end up choosing a product that is significantly worse for our overall health. Furthermore, modern science has completely redefined its understanding of dietary fats. We now know that healthy fats are not only harmless, but are essential for our body to function, especially when managing diabetes. Fats found in whole food sources like natural dairy, nuts, avocados, and olive oil play a crucial role in blood sugar control. They significantly slow down the digestion process and the absorption of carbohydrates from the gut into the bloodstream. This means that after a meal containing healthy fats, your glucose levels rise slowly and smoothly, avoiding those sharp, unhealthy spikes. By skipping fats in favor of low-fat or light products, which are often loaded with hidden sugars and starches, you strip your body of this vital self-regulating mechanism. The result is a double negative. You get the expected sugar spike, and you fail to feel satiated, leading directly to overeating and constant snacking. This creates a vicious cycle that actively prevents you from achieving stable diabetes management. So, what's the solution? Stop being afraid of dietary fats. Choose natural, full-fat dairy products. Think cottage cheese or farmer's cheese, and plain, unsweetened Greek yogurt. Yes, they might be higher in calories, but they are far more filling and beneficial. A small serving of these foods will satisfy your hunger for hours and won't cause that sharp sugar spike. Ditch the fat-free salad dressings. Instead, use high-quality olive or flaxseed oil mixed with fresh lemon juice and your favorite spices. Skip the light desserts and grab a handful of nuts or a few slices of avocado instead. Your body needs healthy fats to properly absorb fat-soluble vitamins, produce essential hormones, and maintain stable energy levels. Most importantly, always read the nutrition label. If sugar, syrup, or starch are listed among the first few ingredients, feel free to put that diet product right back on the shelf. Number 4 on our list is sports drinks. These bright, often highly colored liquids are strongly linked to exercise, energy, and a healthy lifestyle. Advertisements constantly show us athletes instantly regaining their strength and hydration balance with just one sip after an exhaustive workout. It certainly seems like the ideal drink for anyone leading an active lifestyle. They promise not just to quench thirst, but also to replenish key electrolytes, potassium, sodium, and magnesium that we lose when we sweat. For someone with diabetes who starts exercising to improve their overall health metrics, this type of drink might seem like a logical, even necessary choice. After all, physical activity lowers blood sugar, so you need a quick way to restore energy, right? Unfortunately, that logic is fundamentally flawed and can lead to some very unpleasant consequences. Let's clarify who these drinks are actually made for. They were developed for professional athletes who push themselves through extreme, multi-hour endurance efforts. Think marathon runners, triathletes, or competitive cyclists. During this level of intense, prolonged activity, their bodies burn through massive amounts of glycogen, which is the glucose stored in the muscles. Sports drinks are essentially liquid sugar in an easily digestible form, allowing them to rapidly replenish these stores and keep moving. However, for the average person whose workout lasts 40 to 60 minutes at the gym or involves a light jog, this amount of sugar isn't just unnecessary, it's actively harmful. A single, standard bottle of a sports drink can contain anywhere from 30 to 50 grams of pure sugar. For someone with diabetes, consuming that is comparable to eating several spoonfuls of granulated sugar straight out of the sugar bowl. But what about electrolytes, you ask? They are vital for the body, right? That's true. But let's be honest. During a standard hour-long workout, you don't lose a critical amount of electrolytes that would require emergency replenishment with a sugary drink. Plain mineral water is perfectly capable of handling hydration and returning the necessary minerals to your system. The marketing focus on electrolyte replenishment is simply a clever cover to sell you what is essentially very expensive sugar water. Any minor benefit from those trace minerals is completely overridden by the massive dose of fast-acting carbohydrates. A drink like that will immediately spike your blood sugar, completely negating all the positive effects of your exercise. Instead of lowering your blood sugar through physical activity, you'll actually send it soaring to unnecessary heights. So, what is a safe and effective alternative? The best drink, both during and after your workout, is simply plain, clean water. It's excellent for quenching your thirst and maintaining optimal hydration. If you want something a little more exciting, try adding a slice of lemon or cucumber or a few mint leaves to your water. If you've truly crushed a very intense or long workout and feel the need to replenish electrolytes, there are much healthier ways to do it. For instance, you could sip on some unsweetened coconut water, a natural source of potassium, or simply grab a mineral-rich snack post-workout, like a small banana or a handful of almonds. Remember, sports drinks are a highly specialized product designed for professional athletes only. They have no place in the daily routine of the average healthy person, especially if you are diabetic. Finally, the fifth, and perhaps the most surprising entry on our list: rice cakes. These light, airy, crunchy discs have long been the quintessential symbol of dieting. They contain virtually no fat, are extremely low in calories, and seem like the perfect bread replacement. For many, they are the go-to snack base, perfect for spreading soft cheese, topping with a slice of avocado, or simply crunching on plain whenever a craving hits. They provide the illusion of satiety without the caloric load, making them incredibly appealing for weight management and for those monitoring blood sugar or managing diabetes. You can find dozens of varieties on store shelves, made from brown rice, blended with buckwheat, or packed with flax seeds. They certainly seem like a perfectly safe and even beneficial product that you can enjoy without limits. But unfortunately, that belief is one of the biggest misconceptions in the entire world of dietetics. The secret behind why rice cakes are actually unhealthy comes down to their manufacturing process. They are typically made from rice using the extrusion method, a process that involves subjecting the grains to extremely high heat and pressure. This process literally explodes the rice grains, creating that signature puffy, porous structure. This intense processing completely strips away all the beneficial nutrients. But more critically, it transforms the rice's slow-digesting complex carbohydrates into extremely fast-acting simple carbs. The glycemic index, or GI, of these rice cakes becomes unbelievably high, ranging anywhere from 80 to 95. Just to put that into perspective, that's higher than plain white bread and even higher than pure refined table sugar, which has a GI of around 70. When you eat one of these cakes, you are essentially consuming solid sugar. It is instantly broken down into glucose in your body, triggering the exact same sharp and powerful blood sugar spike as any other high GI food. What's more, rice cakes come with another critical flaw. They contain almost no fiber, protein, or healthy fats. These are the definition of empty calories. They provide absolutely zero sense of fullness. You can easily eat one, then a second, then a third, and the feeling of hunger just won't go away. Your body gets a quick hit of glucose, but it misses out on the essential building blocks and long-term sustained energy. This inevitably leads to overeating. You end up either consuming far too many rice cakes, or you start loading them up with calorie-dense, often unhealthy toppings just to achieve some level of satisfaction. Ultimately, in an attempt to save calories, you consume way more than you intended, all while spiking your blood sugar. This is an ineffective and frankly detrimental strategy for both weight management and blood sugar control. To picture this, just imagine a single, small rice cake creates a genuine sugar tsunami in your bloodstream. So, how do we replace those tempting, crunchy cravings? Look for alternatives rich in fiber and protein. Whole grain crisp breads or crackers are an excellent option, but skip the ones made from puffed rice and instead choose options based on coarsely ground whole grains like rye, buckwheat, or oats. Read the labels carefully. Whole grain flour should be the very first ingredient listed, and the product shouldn't contain added sugar or refined white flour. Even better, use fresh vegetables as the base for your sandwiches or open-faced snacks. Slices of cucumber, bell peppers, or sturdy lettuce leaves. They offer a satisfying crunch with minimum calories and maximum nutritional benefits. For a healthy snack, a small handful of nuts or seeds also works perfectly. They contain healthy fats and protein, which will keep you feeling full for longer and help stabilize your blood sugar levels. The main takeaway is this: not everything that crunches and looks diet-friendly is actually healthy for you. All right, let's quickly recap. Today, we revealed 5 common foods that often masquerade as healthy options, but which can seriously sabotage your blood sugar management. These were instant oatmeal, fruit juices and smoothies, fat-free products, sports drinks, and rice cakes. Quite the plot twist, isn't it? These products, which for years have been staples in supposedly healthy diets, might actually be undermining your health goals. The common culprits here are heavy processing, sneaky added sugars, and a high glycemic index. The crucial takeaway is this: always read the labels and don't fall for flashy marketing claims. The healthiest food is always whole, unprocessed, or minimally processed. So here are your substitutions. Opt for traditional rolled oats instead of instant packets. Eat whole fruit instead of drinking juices. Choose full-fat, plain yogurt over the fat-free versions. Drink plain water instead of sugary sports drinks. And finally, swap those rice cakes for whole vegetables or whole grain crackers. Managing diabetes is all about making informed choices, and now you are equipped with 5 powerful new insights. Thanks for sticking with us until the very end. If you found this information helpful, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our future health deep dives and exposes. Now the question for you, which of the 5 products we discussed surprised you the most? Or perhaps you know of other food traps that we missed. Share your experience in the comments below. Let's help each other make the best food choices.